Hey, Kevin.
Hey,
How's it
Gary.
going?
Doing well.
Hey, to start off, uh, have you interviewed yet for any of the three jobs that have requested uh, your presence for an interview?
I have not. We've got those kind of scheduled here now that the week's kind of, not wrapping up. We're still very much, in the process of going out to the field and working our prep, but at least the game planning phases that I didn't want to, I wanted to make sure I was a part of and not giving up anything there. So we've got a good schedule kind of moving forward, and it'll allow me to kind of handle everything I need to handle on both ends, and I'm excited about it.
I know your focus is on the Rams and what the task at hand, but how difficult is that when you have multiple, situations working? And I know you want to express your philosophy and whatnot when you meet with these people, but you also have to have a familiarity, I'm guessing, with their personnel and how you might use them and whatnot. So how do you balance that, with that many opportunities and then also keeping your focus on what's happening here?
Well, first and foremost, the focus, with what we're doing right now as a football team, it's my number one priority, and I really feel like, you're absolutely right in the necessity to have a great feel for whatever team that I may be talking to about their roster, about their team. That's really important, but I think they would understand that my focus needs to be on, the Rams first. And then I really feel like I've been preparing for this for a long time, from a standpoint of philosophy and how you want to go about doing things. I've had some great people that I've learned from. Nobody more than our head coach here, who would tell you guys the same thing, that our process, and he trusts that both Raheem, myself, and Thomas, our focus and priorities first and foremost for our guys here, because I can't imagine doing it any other way.
Thanks very much.
All right, Gary.
Jordan.
Hey, Kevin, good morning. Just just wondered if you could take us through your assessment of specifically Matthew's decision making in the passing game against Arizona, and what struck you about that?
I felt going into the game, he had such ownership of the game plan. Obviously, you play a team three times. Sometimes, it's great because you got a lot of film to watch and you have such familiarity with the opponent, but it can be, you got too much film to watch, too much. And I thought his ability to just play with a real quieted mind and have such command of what we were trying to do early on really got in a rhythm, got different players involved, whether it be Odell or Higbee, that made some big catches early on for us. And then obviously Cooper is always going to do his thing. We got Van down the field a little bit. It was great to get Cam back, but Matthew kind of just, engineering that whole thing, running the show, making sure the operation was clean, overcoming some kind of longer yardage, second down, first down situations, and still keeping us moving. But ultimately being smart with the football, getting us into some great looks in the run game, really ran the show. I thought he played really, really well the other night.
And Kevin, I asked him this too, but in terms of the decision making, when not to throw, when to sort of take the gimme yards or to even take the sack in certain cases. He's been talking about that all year as a part of his decision making and things that he wants to continue to evolve. But do you think that there's anything to the psychology behind a guy who had to kind of do it all and maybe play hero ball at times previously for a decade? Do you think there's any sort of unlearning that has to happen in terms of how you make decisions in a new space like this?
I think anytime you've got the experiences of a player like Matthew, playing a lot of snaps at a really high level, but understanding that, every team, every single week, realizes that you got to win football games differently, depending on who the opponent is, depending on, what the plan of attack is going in offensively. I think the best teams in this league they need to morph into to win that particular game, that particular week. And it's not always going to be, for the fantasy football numbers. Sometimes it's going to be a runs and completions game. Sometimes it's going to be how many explosives can we generate, and everybody's excited about that. And then, sometimes it obviously can be, just a ball possession type of game where you're trying to, win that time of possession, keep the defense off the field and control the field position. So all those things, I think what Matthew would say is there's probably some truth to that, but at the same time, each game, each 3.5 hour window every single week is its own opportunity, and the best quarterbacks in our league play the way they have to give their team the best chance to win.
Thanks for the insight, Kevin.
Once again, guys, we got a decent amount of hands up, so maybe we can keep it to one question, try to get everybody to at the end. Kurt.
Hey, Kevin, in your time in the league, both as a player and a coach, it's pretty unique to see a team have this type of success on the road. What is there a common denominator with what Sean and this organization is doing on the road?
Yeah, I think so. We spend a lot of time and a lot of things have been, really studied from a sports performance and a recovery standpoint to make sure that, when you're a West Coast team going on the road to the East Coast for those 10 a.m. games, I'm sure you guys feel it as well. When you guys hop on the plane and fly across the country and wake up and, I know how early you guys get to the stadium like we do. So your body clock's not going to ever be exactly what you want. But I think from a standpoint of the consistency of how we go about those weeks leading into the weekend, the guys know, they know they've got to get their recovery leading into obviously the day before. We've never been, since I've been here, a team that has left 2 days before those trips. So we lock in on the same schedule with those guys, understand that they're going to get their rest. It's about hydrating. It's about doing all the things that Reggie Scott and his crew do. I mean, the best in the world at, in my opinion, of being able to get the guys ready to play at their best. And then you got to have the right kind of guys that can wake up and feel like they're ready to go no matter what. We've had some 12 o'clock, starts this year where, it seemed like you're barely done your first cup of coffee and it was the end of the first quarter. So I think it's a real testament to the work that's been put in to get the prep going, to get these players feeling great, and they buy in, and that's the most important thing.
Thanks, Kevin.
Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. Sorry,
Good.
you talked about learned from Sean, among others. Anything especially interesting that you would put your finger on that you've learned from him, and maybe more important, just as important, practically speaking, what do other teams assume that you've learned from the experience of being on the Rams staff?
Well, first and foremost, I can't really assume that they assume that I've learned some things. So it's my job to kind of explain those things and make sure they know. But one of the things that I've talked a lot about, with our quarterback is the leadership skills and the ability to make all those around them, have the best possible chance to have success, be the best possible versions of themselves. And I've talked a lot about Matthew with that, but I think it's been very easy for Matthew to come into this culture and do that because of what Sean's built here and his ability every single day to bring energy, bring kind of that urgent enjoyment that we like to talk about when we know we're at our best. When we're completely locked in, we're dialed in, the focus is 100% there, but we're enjoying it. Coaches, players, everybody in this building, I think, feels it, and it all starts with him. And anybody who's going to try to go, take the best parts of what we do here at the Rams and go somewhere else, it all starts with so many characteristics of our head coach. And, I don't take it for granted a day, getting to come to work and be around him.
Thank you.
Rashawn.
Hey, Coach.
Hey.
How do you describe what Sean McVay has been able to accomplish at such a young age?
Well, it's not surprising to me, knowing just the person that I knew even before he became the head coach here, the football character, he's obviously, everybody has been exposed to, just how, intelligent he is from a football standpoint, but the emotional intelligence, the understanding of people, how to communicate with people at an extremely high level, all of those things are what make him a really special head coach, and not only for the players, but us as a staff. And, we feel it every day. We feel like you want to go to work as hard as you possibly can for him, because, he's not only doing the same, but he knows he cares about each and every one of us.
Thank you.
We'll wrap with Lindsay and Greg.
Kevin, happy to know your guys' travel experience isn't too much more luxurious than ours.
Yeah.
Hey, with Odell, what was your reaction to that 40-yard completion he had the other day? And can you kind of take us through, Sean did yesterday, but from your perspective, take us through how that was, my brain's leaving me, implemented at practice?
Yeah. So, obviously we were trying to attack a certain look, that we thought we might get, take advantage of maybe a one-on-one matchup with him. It played out a little bit differently. Cardinals had some things, kind of some third down game plan specific things they were trying to do. A big thing for us was making sure that if that were to happen and try to get out in front of maybe one of those, looks that they don't show as much, or maybe a new game plan thing that they did, that our concepts were spaced out and we still had really good matchups within possible zones or zone pressure looks. And Odell did a great job. We've been working through, variations of that concept where it's all about the details. It's all about from the snap of the football, how you go about running that route from a standpoint of keeping your defender where we want, and then being able to explode off of potentially those two outermost players. You guys have seen us throw it to Cooper and Tyler Higbee at times this year off of similar concepts, but his ability to then track it and just transition into those yards after catch. Thought he might score. I thought he might do something wild down there and try to get in the end zone, but huge play for us when we had to have it. And it goes right along with, I thought he was locked in from the jump. I could tell in pregame warmups, just the look he had in his eyes. He enjoyed being back in the playoffs. It was fun to watch him.
And if I could just get a really quick follow-up, as a former QB, what's it like to see a receiver get a 40-yard completion? Is it kind of fun?
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about his catch. My bad. I thought
no, that's okay.
His
that's
40-yard
okay.
reception. I'll tell you what, as a former quarterback where I was standing, when he throws that tight of a spiral and that nose just turns over like that, the first thing you deep down think is jealousy for, why couldn't I have thrown the ball like that? But I know Matthew had some words about my quarterback play yesterday, so I'll leave it at that. Really, Odell's such a special athlete, but I apologize, Lindsay. I thought you were asking about one of the other spectacular plays he made the other night. But I'm sure I'll be able to answer in greater detail later on about that one.
All good. I should have been clear. Thanks.
And Greg.
Hey, Kevin, from a games planning standpoint, what's it been like the last 2 weeks adding Cam Akers to this offense? Because you had a solid running game this season, but it wasn't statistically huge in yards per carry or anything. And then all of a sudden you've added a fresh, hungry, young guy whose explosiveness out there was pretty obvious to everybody. Does the way he ran and played on Monday put ideas into your heads going forward?
Absolutely. Great question. It's something that, from the time the training staff let us know, hey, there was a real possibility that we could get him back. We know as coaches and our players here know how dynamic Cam is. He obviously got some work against the Niners, but then to feel, coming off that game, like, okay, I'm back, I can go do this. I even noticed another gear there against the Cardinals, his confidence level, his bounce, in and out of the huddle, on and off the field. I'm just seeing Cam every single day lock him back in and really not only a testament to coming back from that injury, but mentally to be able to just transition right back into playing in really competitive, environments and playing against really good athletic defenses, physical defenses, and him in some cases taking the physicality to the opponent. I can't say enough about what he's been able to do to help us, and hoping to continue to see more and more of it.